Hello friends, let's try something new today. I have here on the screen a bunch of plants and lake plants that Root Perdiz made. As you can see, they are now layered randomly on the scene just so it can be better placed. I will do that now. I will rearrange these. I'm the guy that usually rearrange the assets and make the scenery looks as good as possible. Okay, let's see what can be done. Let's try. First, move this. Random sizes. Oh, by the way, these are instances. They are not real geometry. They are just an empty, which we can then instance. It's a collection that comes from other files, external files. So root can work really easy on them, and I can see the updates right here on real time, and they can be duplicated real easy without much memory usage or any at all. It uses the position and stuff like that, but it's not that much more. So let's see. Okay, let's try. It's also useful to take a look to the camera once in a while. This is just a temporary camera. It even so gives the ground view, the more or less perspective of it. We can rotate things so it doesn't look to come all from the same place. Oh, as you can see, we always have a little bit of extra space. So if you want to place it here, it still goes up to the ground. Actually, it's not a bad place. Let's move this one more like this, perhaps. All right. All right. The thing is, we don't want to make it these plants the central point. We just want to have them as close to fill up the scenery, so there is not a lot of empty gaps between this and sky. And yes, it needs to have a nice flow to it, like this is the central one that I want to capture. So this one's probably need to be a little bit smaller. So they kind of make a composition arc, and then we make another one like this. All right. We just want to keep it looking natural, and on real life stuff kind of grows at different speeds. So let's go like this. This is the central point, and then we want things go things point towards it. Things go from small and kind of point towards it, because the camera will start more or less here. It's here that we can, the main frog will be, and then we'll move towards here. Okay. Let's see one more of these here. Let's rotate it. Okay. And right. This one. Like this. All right. And like any other family, plants tend to grow the same kind of plant near one of each other. They're children, so they are like daughters and kids from the bigger plant. So on this area, let's try to have more of these. So okay, let's try to make this one point towards this one. So it grows towards it. It goes. It needs to go from small, pointing to the main one, and going down again. Like this. Also should grow towards. You can point it also, and like this. So it makes a growing arc. It kind of grows towards the main one and goes down. And this should happen like here also, like grows towards the focal point. This obviously needs to be taken into account the shot, but you can always move this afterwards. But for now, let's try to kind of point it towards where we want to this go. So avoid to have everything straight, because on real life nothing is straight. Everything is just a little bit bent and pointing to one or the other side. So the idea is to have as much random stuff than we possibly can. Okay, one more grass here. Another one here. Again. Trying to fill up the blank spaces as good as possible. And growing towards our main plant. Yeah, we also don't want everything covered by grass. Like in any good soup, if you put too much beans or too much any ingredient, it will ruin the soup. It needs to have the actually right amount, so it feels good to you, and also some more depth. We don't want this to look flat. If it's made in 3D, we don't want it actually look that flat, so let's give it some more depth. Let's move this in depth also. So, right. No. Okay. It's so, yeah. Okay, I think we're now going to the right place. Save. Should always save. Alright. Kind of better. And the good thing of this is you can always adjust it. You don't have to go by something that and stay by that. We can always adjust it to our needs. Right. Let's do it again and see how it looks. Ready? This may take some time. A lot of time. This is my notepad. It's where I note everything. Every project we made, everything all noted. So, storyboards and stuff like that. It's where I save everything. Stuff for resilience setup also. And as you can see, it's still loading. Oh, it was my wife and my son. Okay, we're starting to see something. Oh, another thing that's really important, you really have to pay attention to your outliner. It's here that you keep everything within reach of all the stuff that you want to make. So it's really important you have this all very well organized. You cannot just throw something without names on it, because then it will be like impossible, totally impossible for you to work with it. If you want to do something like a complex scenery with characters, action, many stuff happening, you may have to make sure everything has a name. It's located, origin is located on the center, and rotation and scale are clear. It's very, very important. It's so important that it cannot or should not be made in any other possible way. You always, always, always have to name your asset and clear rotation and scale and have it in the center. So it can then be used as an asset. You just have a share, and if you go somewhere to the shares, yeah, it's in Portuguese. So you can just pick up the share that you want, and it will be very, very easy to adjust and to animate later. When you have keys on it, it will be very easy for you to know which one is which one. In this case, we have a lot of shares, so we have share 1 to 15, but it's okay having numbers because it is the same bench, and when you're animating, you kind of know which one is which. Oh, by the way, now I think that this is all loaded up. Okay, let me see underwater and above the water. All right, and we now have a little bit better scenery than we had before. At least it's more in growing up and going down. There's that feeling of blocks and not just random plants placed in there. So it grows and goes down. This one here kind of makes a set with the other one. It grows towards there. And this one here, the same thing. It kind of just grows from small and grows towards our main point, our main asset, our main vegetation, and keeps on growing. So now you may some of this is already made, but some of this is actually moving. It's all animated vegetation. Some it's not quite yet ready. The most recent ones I still didn't have time to make the animation for them, but most of it is actually already animated. Like all these lamps, they are all animated. And these were animated pretty much with a very complex system that is linked, by the way. This is also linked. It's this on the scene. It's very simple. It's just an asset as everything else, and it can all the animation comes from the linked file. It uses like mesh deform and hooks to keep the not hooks. It's the parent vertices feature of Blender, which parent it's lamp to one of the points of the deformer that makes this move and animate. So anyway, I guess we are more good than before. Let's try to render this. Okay, let's have this on rendering view and let's see how it looks, because this now it's just texture preview mode, it's full light. Let's see this at night. It should, it's loading. Okay, we have now volumetrics, clouds, and yeah, so we now have the plants. Let's give it a look. Okay, now when you have frogs moving and lots of action, we then will have depth of field and all that stuff to focus on what we want to show on the scene, on the shot. But yeah, it's kind of important that the scenery is detailed. It should be detailed, and the loss of detail should happen in the camera, with the depth of field and such. But we like to have it as much detailed as possible, because that's what happens in real life. On real filming, you guys by now have heard some noises that's normal around here. That's like epic family place. So there is not quiet moment here. And yeah, like I said, not every single place needs to have plants, but I try to always look for any angle, all the angles, so when animating, I don't have, we can, on the shot, when you place the camera and the shutters and all of that, you then move the plant slightly so it frames the shutter. But for now, I like to make like a 360 degrees pleasant thing. And I think it's more or less that for the moment. At least it is a lot better than it was before. And I hope that somehow you'll enjoy this show. It's my first ever attempt to make this show a little bit of what we do and how we work. And if you like this, you want to see more, I'll try to do this at least Saturdays or 15 in 15 days or something like that. And if you have progress, because not always we can work on Clash on Little Pound and the Resilience Hotel too. But every time we have an opening, we do work on it, and it will be done someday. Hope you like it, and see you next time.